because I am sneak dissing right now. That is my intentions, to sneak diss, and I decided to come on your platform and sneak diss.
I love it. You supposed to be happy you sitting there with Kid L. Why you mad?
The Kid L Podcast.
Rocking and rolling. We got the legend back on the studio, man. Icewear Vezzo is in the building, man. And we also got fresh and pressed juice.
Man, you me up with that, bro, and I pulled up with the fresh and press. You appreciate that.
I actually go there pretty often.
For real, bro.
Yeah, man. I think because it's like I feel healthy. I feel good when I leave.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
and then like our shit 100% organic. You know what I'm saying? Like we ain't got no like absolutely no sugar, no additives or nothing. Like, you know, like I don't want to say the names. I don't want to get us in trouble. But the other juice bars, like the more mainstream juice bars, like they shit, it's just not real. It's more like McDonald's. You know what I'm saying? I like to call us the Benihana of the juice game. You know what I'm saying?
That's very dope, man.
Yeah.
When you enter that world, I know I listened to some of your talks where you were trying to give something to your wife so she could have something and really take it to the levels that it's at now. And how proud are you to see where it's gone from what you started with at inception of the thought of what it could have been?
I'm extremely proud. You know, she made me a believer in it. I like I said, I didn't really understand that business, especially financially. I'm kind of thinking like, how the fuck are we about to, for one, make our money back? How are we about to recoup? But how are we going to survive with a juice business, selling juices for $8 and $9? Like, you know, we spent hundreds of thousands of dollars to get the building and get the business up and going, you know, but I did it because she stuck with me while I chased my dreams. She kind of put her dreams to the side and held the household down while I was able to go outside and get my work done and, you know, do everything that I visioned for myself when we were shorties or whatever. Yeah. So my main thing was like, you know, let me do it. Now it's her turn. Just like she supported me, it's my time to support her and get that back. You know what I mean? That same effort and patience and belief, the whole everything, you know. Yeah. So to do it and then fast forward down the line, now I'm actually fully invested mentally into the business because the outcome of it. She did her thing. Like, you know, I had nothing to do with the outline of the business. I had nothing to do with the approach. I had nothing to do with nothing. I literally just paid for a business and prayed that she be all right and everything go right for her. But eventually, you know, just watching the reaction and the support that we getting and the community, like the people in that community, the way they come to the biz, I kind of slept on the health. You know what I'm saying? How serious others take their health. I know how serious we take our health in my household, but I didn't understand that a lot of other people do it, and people of all ethnicities and colors. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, we won 3 awards for best new juice bar in Michigan.
Amazing,
already.
Man.
Yeah.
And people are looking for that now. I think people are willing to spend the extra money to know they're putting something good in their system.
Absolutely. That shit is extremely important, bro. Like, you know, our health determine everything. You know, it determine how long we're going to live. It determine where we at mentally, you know, emotionally, physically, all that shit. You know, what we put in our body define who we are. You know what I mean? Like, even down to certain type of food, you know, and I got that understanding because of my religion. You know, the way an animal die, if they die with anxiety and just like, you know, shit like that, then you put in that same anxiety into your body, into your bloodstream. Yes. You know, so yeah.
Because animals know they're about to be executed.
They know they're about to be executed.
They poison their own system.
Yeah, and they release a lot of dopamine and a lot of anxiety and all that shit. So essentially, we putting everything that every feeling that they have when they dying, we ingesting that into our system. Yeah. You know, so
just imagine the fact that everything that's been marketing toward us is what we consume, like McDonald's and things of that nature. It's like it's just because it was in our face that we went and ate it.
We ate that
and
shit.
People convinced us that these things aren't bad for you or certain things aren't bad for you. And now RFK's coming out and he's like, no, a lot of this shit's actually
doing the right
bad
thing. Yeah, they just banned like red dye in a lot of the food. You want to know what's crazy? Did you know like a lot of like, for instance, like cereal, like Kellogg's, like Wheaties or whatever the case may be, the ingredients that's in the shit that's in America, they are banned in other countries.
Yes.
And it's the exact same thing, like Frosted Flakes. Our Frosted Flakes don't have the same ingredients that they have in any European nation or Canada or wherever. You know, it's different shit Totally. And I think that's what Robert F. Kennedy, that was his main agenda, to push that. You know, why are we able to feed our citizens garbage, but these companies won't send garbage to other countries?
Yes.
But these companies are created and founded in America. But we okay with putting that shit in our citizens, and we not okay with putting that in other citizens.
Exactly.
That's why our obesity rate so high
Yes.
in America. Yeah.
Because they're producing something at the lowest cost value
Absolutely.
for the masses.
Yeah,
Because the
exactly.
masses want it, and they don't want to short stock, so they have to get it to the masses.
Yeah.
But you had the opportunity to meet RFK, right?
Yeah, I brought him to the trenches. He came to the hood. He
Yeah,
pulled up
man.
the Zorbas, and I took him to the house that I grew up in, and all of that. Yeah, that's my homie. That's a good dude.
There was also like a phone call, I believe, between Donald Trump, which was crazy, that I heard Mikey Eckstein talking about throughout that time of him being here, which was like insane.
Yeah.
Did you get to be a part of that phone call?
I don't want to speak on.
Okay, for
you
sure.
know. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, no, yeah, for sure. But can you talk about bringing him here, and also like what the situation was and why all these people feel comfortable coming to talk to you?
That part I can't answer as far as like, and when I say I can't answer, I mean I don't have an answer for that as far as why they feel comfortable with talking to me. But I do thank God that people of that level and stature, you know, do feel comfortable reaching out to me. I'm from the trenches. I'm from 6 Mile. I didn't graduate high school. I don't have no education, absolutely none at all whatsoever. I rap about what I rap about. I live the way I lived. I did the shit that I did in the past that I'm not proud about. I'm not happy about, that I don't never talk about. I don't even rap about most of the shit that I've done and that I've been through. So for them kind of people to feel comfortable to have real discussions with me and private discussions, you know, shit that I possibly shouldn't even be hearing or even let alone being a part of, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know why they feel comfortable, but by the grace of God, certain kind of individuals do reach out to me, and I do have relationships with them, and you know, they tap in and they come to my hood and we link up and shit like that, and I think it's a blessing. I believe with Robert F. Kennedy, I was in an interview and I was vocal about his agenda and what he pushing with the health and, you know, certain vaccines and just like everything he was speaking about the pandemic or whatever. You know, a lot of that stuff was already making sense to me, but he kind of put it in more of a broader perspective for me. You know what I'm saying? So he got wind of that and he reached out to my cousin Swish from California, and I believe he reached out to Chanel, if I'm not mistaken. And we linked and shit, it was just all love.
Yeah, man, I listen to a lot of your talks, and I listen to you outside. I've spoken to you outside of microphones and everything like that. And your intellectual capacity is far beyond I think most people perceive or understand. Like, you're really, really smart, bro. And I'm not just saying that to say that. It's probably the first time I've ever told anybody this, but like, I've listened to you and I'm like, no, this motherfucker's actually hitting levels deeper than like what a normal rapper wants to talk about. And you're able to go to depths about certain conversations. And I think when these people see you, they go, he's able to communicate to both sides. Yeah. And being able to translate the intellectual conversations into something that the younger cats don't want to hear, but they're going to listen to you. Because you said it, because Icewear Vezzo said it. I'm going to listen to him now.
It makes sense, bro. And I appreciate that. You know, we have talked about like really deep conversations. You know what I'm saying? I told you that when you was at my studio, like, bro, you like really, really, really smart. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely appreciate that. And I feel like a lot of people don't know, you know, at the capacity that I can communicate at, or, you know, whatever the case may be. I think people only look at me as Icewear Vezzo, the rapper, and you know, you got people that think I really drink lean and shit like that. Like, you know, I feel like a lot of people look at artists like we're just drug addicts. We like fast cars. We like flashing money. We like putting on clothes and sleeping around. But it's more to a lot of us. You know, it's a lot of depth to a lot of artists, you know, that I came in contact with. But I'm big on information.
For sure. I think that's why you're able to have conversations or be in rooms like when Kamala Harris was here. I believe you kind of navigated an interview, and to be able to articulate everything in a way that's easily digestible to even people like me sometimes, where I get lost in shit. It's like people are going to listen because you're talking. But do you think it's going to get bigger and bigger than this? As far as when people reach out, we're going to Vezzo. We're going to talk to him. We're going to reach out and make sure that our ideas are translated to Detroit and to Michigan itself.
Inshallah, God willing.
Yeah.
If that happened, I would gradually accept that position.
Yeah.
Pause, but that's great. That was great.
Sure.
No, I would happily accept that position. It's every day, somebody. I don't like to use the word powerful. What other word can be used? I just think power just a nasty word.
In position?
Yeah, every day somebody in like a way bigger position that I shouldn't have no business talking to reach out to me, and we do talk. We had long conversations, and I think now that you said that, I believe that may be the case. It may be more so like, 'cause I didn't realize how important Michigan was in a political field overall until recently. You know what I'm saying? So I think that may be the case where it's like, I think I can talk to this guy, and I think if I talk to this guy will understand and will be able to communicate that.
Yeah.
I remember during the election, a lot of people was mad at me because I linked with Donald Trump or whatever.
Right.
But prior to that, I had went on my social media and I stated that, you know what, I think I want to meet every single candidate. I want to personally meet them, have a personal conversation so I can learn things about the candidates on my own without digesting so much information secondhand. I would like to form my own opinions. I don't want to do as I'm told.
Yeah.
I don't believe in somebody saying something to me and I take it at face value. I like to do my own independent research, and I always promoted that. So I did just that. I didn't have no way of doing this. I didn't know if it was possible or nothing. I just said I wanted to do it. I set out to do it, and I got it done. And I faced a lot of bullshit for that, dudes, people calling me all kind of names because, again, it go back to them not knowing me, them not understanding. So I was saying, excuse me, I'm drink some water. So I was seeing a lot of conversations like, imagine getting political advice from Icewear Vezzo, or, imagine Vezzo thinking he know what he talking about. And it'd be people that literally don't know me, that never met me, that never had a conversation with me a day in their life, that don't know absolutely nothing about me other than my music. If that, you know what I mean? Everybody not a fan of Icewear Vezzo. I accept that as well. But I know these people don't know me, but I still did what I did. And if I had when I will have the opportunity, I would continue to do that. I would continue to go out, seek information, digest it, and then articulate it back to the people who I'm closest to my loved ones, to my community, to my hood, to my homeboys, to everybody, and say, look, this is what I asked this person. This is what this person said. Do with that information whatever you want to. And if it's like, well, I'd rather hear from this person. Oh, I talked to this person as well.
Yes.
And this what I asked, and this what was said. So yeah.
Absolutely. That's what being a public figure kind of is. And sometimes people don't associate a rapper with becoming a public figure, but you're one of those people that created that identity and helped create that identity for Detroit, where it's like, I'm a rapper, but I also am trying to help lead the way as far as building the community. Also, man, another trajectory that you've taken is film, which is incredible, right?
Yeah.
Like, not only did you find massive success with music, but you're finding success in the media industry, in Tubi, and the movie industry is booming right now, and you're a part of that, man.
Booming.
Can you talk about entering it and starting up something new just like you always have and finding success with it?
You want to know what's crazy, bro? Being an actor and writing films and being a producer, that was more of a passion of mine than music was, And I say a lot of shit about music, about myself, about how much I loved it since I was a child and all that, which is true as well. But I always had that thing in the back of my mind where it's like, this is what I really want to do. Like, the music cool, but this is what I really want. I just was afraid to share that because even music seemed too far to grasp. But acting and producing and writing films, like, it was just I looked at it like just a far-fetched dream. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of kept it to myself, but that always was my first passion. I just so happened to get a name from music first. So when God blessed me with the opportunity, I took advantage of the music and I kind of put the movie shit off on the back burner. And then when I got financially okay, that's when I set out to conquer that. you know, because it's like it was my first dream. And I wrote my first movie when I was in prison, in the hole, on a bunch of milk curtains. I wrote my first movie, Price of Love. I knew who I wanted to act in it. I knew everything that I wanted to do with the movie. It was just more so about attacking it, you know, and I was a little rusty. You know, I had this dream, but I wasn't doing nothing to practice this dream. I wasn't doing nothing to seek out this vision or seek out this dream, because I spent so much time first in the streets and then in music and, you know, trying to get a name for myself in that. So I was rusty on the acting side and all that. But yeah, that's a huge passion of mine.
It takes a belief in yourself, and also the switching lanes aspect of like, can I start something brand new?
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
do it, like, because you know how hard it is to try something new in Detroit, right? Like, if you try something new, it's like, motherfucker, you better be really doing it from get-go, from rip.
You know what I think helped me a lot with a lot of shit? I'm not afraid of the outcome. You know, I don't care what people think at all whatsoever. I don't care what anybody think about me. I don't care about numbers. I don't care about engagement. I don't care about none of that. I only care about what I'm doing, what I'm bringing to light. As long as I get the job done, for me, I don't give a fuck how many people break their necks to go see it or how many people shit on it. It just don't matter. For me, the main thing is I set a goal, I reached this goal, here you go, and I'm on to the next one.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people just be afraid to fail, and you can't be afraid to fail, because failure is what builds character.
Yeah.
You know, and you never stop growing. It don't matter how old you get. If I'm 60 years old, I'm still gonna grow. I'm still gonna learn from people younger than me, my age, or older than me. You know, and I think a lot of people just afraid of the outcome, because we can't predict the outcome of anything. Only God can predict the outcome, and we can't predict it. So sometimes we get scared. Sometimes we move in fear, even with the things that we love. You heard, and we gotta stop doing that. So a lot of people get reluctant, and I don't have that reluctance in me. You know, I don't believe in failing or winning. I just believe in getting the job done, and whatever the outcome is, you accept it. You accept it. You grow from it. You learn from it, and if it's a great outcome, you add to it. You heard. So I just believe in doing shit and putting it out, and whatever happen. I'm like that with music. I'm like that. I was like that with the juice bar as well. Again, we spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on this place, but it was for my wife. It was something she wanted to do. So it was fuck the outcome. Whatever happened. And alhamdulillah, something good came out of it, you know, and we're going to keep nurturing this business and keep growing this business. We're going to get a second location downtown Detroit so we can bring the same system that we got in Troy, Michigan to Detroit, Michigan to make it more accessible to my community. You know, everybody can't make it out to Troy, Michigan and come support us. You know what I'm saying? And this a business where it's not it wasn't a money grab for me, and it wasn't a money grab for my wife. It was a passion project. So when we promote this, when we promote Fresh and Press, we emphasize to people, if you come support us, you're not doing us a favor. You're doing yourself a favor. While we appreciate with all our heart for you coming to support us, but essentially what we are providing you is to help you first and foremost, you know.
Yes,
so
man. I love that aspect too, man. Talking about bringing a new awareness to something like this, because even juice bars are kind of, even to the suburbish area, it's not like, it's kind of a newish thing how much they're pushing it, even in the malls and everything like that. It's incredible, man. As far as the entertainment scene's concerned, and you kind of dominating on these lanes and finding success in these lanes, you're doing a lot of things that appear a success all the time for people that watch you. It always feels like Icewear Vezzo is succeeding. But how many trial and errors has there been for things that we haven't seen?
A lot. I failed way more than I succeeded. You know, that's just social media. Everybody posts their wins. I promote my wins, just like the rest of the world. I failed way more than I succeeded. But I'm okay with saying that, you know, and I think I will start displaying way more failures versus only showing my highlights. And I'm glad you asked that. Like, that's a great question, because I get the opportunity to say in front of the world that I failed a lot of times at a lot of things. I've tried a lot of businesses, you know, and I can say only 3% of out of 10% of those businesses worked, you know, but I didn't stop. I just kept going, you know. This shit don't work. Either I added to it, I revamped it, or I kept it moving and focused on something else. But what I did realize is that everything that do work for me are things that I'm passionate about. And everything that didn't work for me was shit that was just a money grab for me. Like my restaurant, my car wash, that first dispensary I had, that was all just for the stunt. I got that shit just to catch a stunt. I was 24 years old and I bought a restaurant and a car wash. I literally got that just to say I own a restaurant, I own a car wash, I own a dispensary. It wasn't for the business, it was for the look, and that shit failed. And pretty much not even pretty much, 100%, every time I do a business and I make it about money, it always fail.
Man.
But every time I do something and I'm passionate about it, and it's something that's in my heart, it's something that can tie back to my belief system as a person, as a man, a human being, it always worked. It always worked. You know what I'm saying? But I failed way more than I won.
Yeah, like when the cause is real, it works.
It worked. It always worked. You know what I'm saying? You look at yourself, for example. Look, you succeeded with this because this is what you genuinely like. You know, you genuinely want to talk to artists and let the world get to know who they are and put Detroit on a bigger light. You know what I'm saying? And that's why it worked. It's not a money grab for you. It's not a clout thing for you. None of those things are in your mind. Am I wrong or am I right?
No, you're absolutely right. Like this was when this first started, it was for fun and to bring my friends together.
Exactly.
And to bring people I rocked with together. But then there was kind of like this assumption that like I had to follow guidelines and follow rules and like I needed to know everything. And it made it harder for me because I was like, man, I was just trying to have fun and really be passionate about it. But now there's these rules that come with it.
Yeah.
But I accepted those rules because I do have an obligation to tell the story or help tell the story in the right manner because I do have this position that I'm in now.
Yeah,
so I'm just adjusting to it. We got to chop it up with Bizarre while we were out here, man. Yeah. And, you know, from the D12 era, from the Eminem era, you guys got to really break down things together. That group, I know this is kind of a little bit off, but the hip hop heads and the street rap kind of realms of Detroit music. Yeah. Do you feel like that's more of a collaborative effort from the 2000s till now that's happening, or do you feel like there's still some type of separation between hip hop and street rap?
I used to think it was a big separation, you know what I'm saying? But until dudes like, you know, Rolls Royce.
Royce the 5'9".
Royce the 5'9", until I seen how much he do, you know, behind the scenes, and he never take credit for the shit. Don't never promote it, you know, don't never tell nobody about it. He do a lot, you know, Street Lord Wine. He do a whole lot, you know what I'm saying, for artists behind the scenes and shit like that. So I used to have a young nigga mentality. You know what I mean? Them niggas ain't did shit for me. I don't owe them niggas nothing. Them niggas ain't turned me up. You know what I'm saying? But they definitely played a role because all eyes matter. You know what I mean? We got people that been aware of the Detroit music scene because of them, and then we got newcomers. So that's literally, by every sense of the definition, a collaborative effort.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes. And you kind of help blend those lines when you know, Calicoe has a show and you're there and you're showing your face. And that's kind of blending a line because a lot of those freestyle artists, those rap battle artists are hip hop heads.
They are. Them, I listen to them niggas when I need, like, you know, some motivation. Like, I'm a big battle rap fan, you know what I'm saying? I'm a fan of that shit first and foremost. But I'm a student of the game, and I learn from them as well. And I learned from D12. I learned from M. I done talked mad shit about M in the past, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, what he done, nobody can take that from him. And I think it's important for us to finally understand and realize, like, listen, check this out. One of the greatest rappers of all time, if not the greatest rapper of all time, he pushing what we pushing. He pushing Detroit. Whether he pushing our side of Detroit, it don't fucking matter. You know, he from where we from. So we got some type of bragging rights. You know, if the greatest come from here, imagine what else is sitting inside this motherfucker. It's a lot more greatness. You know what I'm saying? So I think I think the lack of respect that we gave him in the past, I think it wasn't warranted. You know what I mean?
I think the way that you've just broke that down real quick is so crazy, because a lot of people would be like, a few years ago it was different and now it's this, and it shows the transformation that you're able to say, you know what, maybe we weren't thinking the right way about something, or however your perspective changes.
And I can speak for me. I don't feel like I was thinking the right way, because one of the main sentiments that for me, it was like, well, M ain't really helping our cause out, you know. But then I had to realize it. But if M ain't helping the Detroit cause out, how the fuck do I know Royce 5'9"? How the fuck do I know D12? You know what I'm saying? How the fuck do I know Obi Trice? How do I know Proof? How do I know so many Detroit? How do I know these guys? Trick, all this shit. If M didn't do nothing, I wouldn't know those dudes. You know what I'm saying? Then all the charity work that Holmes do, that he just don't promote the shit.
Yeah, the Marshall Mathers Foundation, they
do a lot for the city. You know what I'm saying?
Paul Rosenberg and them, they did something where when the COVID was happening, they were paying producers for beats, and they were just paying them to like basically survive throughout that time, which was like insane, right?
Yeah, that's gangster. You know what I'm saying?
Coke giveaways. I seen you at LCA. Big Sean was having like a book signing and a release, and when I seen you there on the big screen, I was like, "What the fuck?" Like, and then I think GT was there, and I think Nassan performed, which was incredible. Yeah. But watching you guys next to each other, and obviously the collaborations that have been through the past, you were like, I want to know, when you're front row, when you're sitting there, when all eyes are on you, how do you feel knowing Detroit's staring at you? Like, this is a legend. This is a legend. This is a legend. They're all standing next to each other. Like, how do you consume that?
Only thing I want people to, it ain't necessarily me consuming it. You know, I don't feel nothing like where it's like, oh man, you know, I don't let nothing get to my head, bro. Pause. Like I don't be caring. You know. However, what I do want to be taken from that is I be wanting motherfuckers to see that and be motivated. Yeah. Even if I'm not getting nothing out of this, I want whoever looking to get something out of that. You know what I mean? I think, and the main reason I don't think too much of it in the moment, because once I start thinking about that, then I'm essentially preparing myself to not be myself. Yeah. You know, when you thinking like, damn, all eyes on me, the first thing you think about is how to sit. You know, what type of face expression I need to have on my face. You know, how a nigga walk up to me, somebody want to take a picture. What's my reaction? Like, what should my demeanor look like right now? You know what I mean? So that's why I don't dig into it at all. And
I'm trying to say this with like all the respect possible, but when you're in moments when you're in prison, and then can you ever imagine while you're in prison, I'm going to be floor seats at a Pistons game? Like, can you think about that at that time? Like, no, that's gonna happen. The city's gonna accept me to that degree. Like, I'm gonna be that magnified.
I genuinely believe in myself, like full fledged. You know what I'm saying? Like, everything in my life I spoke it into existence. You know, I'm a firm believer in manifestation. You know what I mean? And I rapped about shit before I had it. I rapped about doing shit before I did it. So the whole time I was in prison, and not literally saying like, yeah, me and Big Sean gonna be, but I was manifesting that shit like, yeah, this gonna happen. I was telling every nigga that I was cool with when I was in prison, yeah, bro, I'm doing this. I'm buying a Rolls Royce. I'm buying my mama a crib. I'm gonna buy me and my wife and my kids a mansion. We gonna live good. You know what I'm saying? We gonna be on flow seats at the Pistons game. We gonna travel the world. I'm gonna open up more businesses. I'm gonna make $100 million. And I was so sure about this shit that I genuinely believed it. You know, it's almost like telling a lie. You know, when people tell so many lies, they start believing their own lies. So which lying ain't a good thing. But I lied to myself so much that I believed in it. And I believed in it so much that it actually happened. It came to fruition. It came true. So I believe manifestation is like key. You know, if you got any dream, you got any passion, manifest that shit. You know, I ran into a couple dudes where it's like, yeah, bro, I want to rap, but, you know, I ain't got certain shit, so I don't feel comfortable talking about it. And I'm like, bro, how the fuck else you plan to get it? You know, you gotta, if you want to rap about it, because that's how you obtain it. You rap about it, you put it out to the universe, and the universe will grant you those things. But it can't be just words. You gotta genuinely believe that shit in your heart and in your mind. You know what I'm saying? So those type of moments, I can't even say I predicted it. I visioned it and I believed in it so much that by the time it happened, that's another reason don't feel like nothing. Cause I had already visioned this shit before it even got there. You know, I already seen myself doing these things. So when it happened, it's just like, yeah, I expected this. So what's next? I'm moving on to the next thing.
Yes, man. Before was Green Guys before Clarity? Like all that was way before it, right?
Yeah.
And then Clarity is like your first. This is you stepping out to yourself, right? Pretty much. I listened to this past week. I've already listened to all of your music, but I listened to every single album and I listened to every single song. Yeah. I might have skipped halfway through on some songs because I was like, you know what, man, I get that. Yeah. But I noticed something that was crazy from Clarity 1 till now. You've always been a good fucking rapper. Like you've always actually been.
I feel like I'm slept on too, gang. Like,
but it was the halfway point between 3 and 4 where it was like, oh shit. And then by the time the Baby and all that, Future and all that, it's like you took it to the next level.
Yeah.
But I was like, the motherfucker's always been good.
Man, I appreciate
choruses
that,
from cadence to just keeping a song moving, Money Phone and everything like that, kind of bring the icebreaker for everything.
Yeah.
But were you always good, or was there a time where you were like, man, this shit was fucking, thank God nobody heard this shit?
I feel like that about some of the projects that I did put out. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, it was one that I put out when I went to prison. I fucking hated that. I hated that tape.
Which tape are you talking about?
Every fucking song on that bitch. What's the name of that?
Free Me, and it was like
Free Me, bro. Man, I hated that bitch, bro. I was just in like a weird place when I made that shit, like just on some lazy shit. And I got a lot of shit that I just don't like at all whatsoever, you know, and it mainly came from just being in a weird spot mentally. You know what I'm saying? We all go through shit where we find ourselves, then we kind of lose ourselves. Now we trying to find ourselves over again. And I did learn from those situations with an S, because there was plenty of them. You heard? And what I took away from that is when I am in that space, it's best for me to just not make a lot of decisions, because it's a possibility, you know, I will make the wrong decision for myself that I wouldn't be happy with. Because, again, you know, I do shit and I don't care what people think. I don't care about the outcome. But it is one person that mattered to me and one opinion that mattered to me, and that's myself. Yes. You heard? So, yeah.
Solitaires is like emotionally driven, right? Yeah. Very loud, raw as fuck.
Yeah.
Felt like it came from the pit of your heart. And
it did. I was going through a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the tape that stood out to me the most. Can you talk about where your mind was and where your energy was at that time?
Man, so I was forced to become an independent artist at that time. You know what I'm saying? My homie that had the record label that I was signed to, he had got sentenced to 10 years in prison, you know, and it just felt like everything came crashing down for me. And then a lot of other bad situations happened where I had horrible publicity in the public eye, you know, situations that we ain't even got to speak on, you know. So I just was in a fucked up place overall. I looked up and it's like, damn, I'm Icewear Vezzo. Why the fuck am I still hustling? You know what I'm saying? I'm still in the trenches. I'm still grinding like I ain't never made Money Phone. Like I never made Clarity 2, Clarity 1, and all these songs. You know what I'm saying? It was just like, after all these years, I'm still not seeing no real money off this shit. I got money, but I'm making it the wrong way. You know what I mean? I got a shorty on the way. You know, Holmes locked up. He in prison. I don't got no deals on the table, no offers on the table. I don't know how to run no fucking record label. And it's just me and it's Chanel. What the fuck do we do from here? Yes. You know, and I had linked with a lot of different execs and shit like that, but I didn't understand and appreciate their vision and what they wanted for them for their company. You know, I wasn't looking to be no boss on my own label. I didn't want to be no CEO. I got too comfortable with spending other people's money. You know what I'm saying? Having other people pay for videos and beats and all this shit while I can stack all my cheese up and put this shit up, put it in the safe, put it in the bank, whatever I want to do with it. So I was just in a moment where it's like, I don't even know what the fuck to do. I don't know where to turn next. I don't know where to go. Do I quit rapping? You know, at that moment, that was the most I ever felt like just giving up and felt like quitting, because I was living the same life that I was living before I was Icewear Vezzo, still hustling, still, you know, doing shit that I shouldn't have been doing. And I was making good money, but I just didn't like the money that I was making. I got tired of that life. It got boring. It wasn't enough for me.
Did you have a slow transformation as far as changing the input of karma for yourself to be like, you know what, I don't want to live like that anymore? Or was it a slow process, or was it like a snap in the moment, like that's it?
It was a slow process up until that snap.
Yeah.
The snap was like mad fast. You heard, like mad quick. But yeah, it was a slow process. But when I did switch up and change up my life, I did it in the instant.
Yes.
I did it immediately. Yes. You know what I'm saying?
I noticed with the earlier tapes, it was mostly Team Eastside people being involved, featuring on it. But then you started reaching out to, or I don't know how the features came about, but like even people like Nisha Shay, Snapdog, and other Detroit artists, and really building that. And watching people that you had on your songs explode to the point that they are now. But what were you looking for at that time? Like, what were you looking for as far as like how to complement the sounds that you're making through the clarity, through Jenga, through everything that you're doing? Like, what were you actually looking for? And then it also over time transforms into mainstream artists are now more a part of it than anything else.
Yeah. I just felt like it was important that I did music with other people from the city.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So much talent in this motherfucker. It's just like, well, I'm me and my homies is my homies. They there. They gonna always be around. So we will eventually just keep making the same kind of music. It's only so many songs we can do together. It's only so much shit that we can rap about. You know what I'm saying? Let me try to fuck with other artists who come from different walks of life than me, from a different side of town than me, you know, that might not share the same mentality as me overall, you know, and it more so was to get remotivated. You know what I'm saying? I looked at certain people and they motivated me, you heard,
Absolutely.
to just keep going and stay fresh and to stay on my feet. You know what I'm saying? So it was just like, yeah.
Another great feature that's coming up soon, man. Backwoods and Bonfires.
Yeah.
You became, I think you're a part owner now?
Yeah, part owner.
I've been watching Crowd Freak since 2017, and I believe that's kind of like the time Doja Cat, everybody kind of had lifted it off, and I got to be at all their events. It's incredible. The community that they built, underground artists getting to work together.
Shit crazy, ain't it, bro?
Like, and it's like the perfect fit for you because leaders are people who can take a group of talented young people and help transform them. And how did that come about with Curtis Lamar? And what's your plans for the future of Crowd Freak and Backwoods and Bonfires?
Yeah, so like I headlined one of the Backwoods and Bonfires. And when I went, bro, like I don't even think I was really even promoting this shit, you know what I'm saying? Like I just didn't understand it, you know what I mean? But I went, obviously I got paid, so I'm like, let me go knock this show out, let me go perform. But when I went, bro, the energy that was there outside of the performance, like fuck the performance, just the setup, the way they ran they shit, like everything about it, it just was like, bro, like a fucking light bulb went off, you know what I mean? I'm like, bro, I can't believe we got some shit like this in Detroit, Michigan, bro. Like this shit looked like some Rolling Loud type of shit, like that kind of bag. The structure, the way they handled the business, from how organized the stage and performances was, just everything, bro. It wasn't a fight, wasn't an argument, nothing happened at that motherfucker, bro. And it was all underground artists and a massive crowd for underground artists to perform. And what really did it was watching artists who nobody knew they songs, but everybody in the crowd reacted to this artist. My whole career, since I've been making music, every time I seen somebody perform in front of any crowd for that matter, especially like a more bigger audience that they didn't know their music, people just sat there and stared at them folks, you know what I'm saying? Just looked at them. No, they didn't have their phones out. They didn't attempt to even act like they liked the music. But at Backwoods and Bonfires, the energy was just so genuine, and it was extremely accepting for underground artists. And I told myself I absolutely have to be a part of this.
Yes.
I gotta be a part of this, because what I vision for that is like our Rolling Loud and possibly even bigger.
Yes.
You know, inshallah. Like,
I remember Chanel was talking to us about summer jams and how much effort it took to get Detroit to be a part of these shows and your effort behind it. But now it's almost like, can you just turn that into that?
I think with that event and with Backwoods and Bonfires, for it all to be based out of one city, the same city where the same residents and the same artists, you know what I'm saying? They both got their own identity. You know what I'm saying? They got their own everything. You heard like the event that Chanel had over the summer. For me, technically, that's the event that, you know, would fit me more. You know what I mean? To perform at and all of that. And it's just like Backwoods and Bonfires is bringing out a crowd that none of us has seen before. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like different people from different backgrounds, just all over the place. And essentially they two great events with a lot of potential. You know what I mean? But I believe, I know both events can coexist, because it's two different entities overall.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
With 42 Doug, since he's been home, has been trying to unite both sides, bringing Detroit together in any capacity that he can, and it's been successful over, I believe, 2 separate events now.
Yeah, been 2.
You've been a part of this, and I'm hearing that you have a lot, I don't want to say words that I don't know, but that you have a contribution to helping bring things together. And you've been doing this since, maybe I've heard stories of Street Lords and Cheddar Boys as well, where you're somewhat figuring out how to like tie things together because of your history and understanding of things. Can you break down your lineage of things that you helped kind of mitigate and bring together? And can you talk about the current state of how things are together right now?
As far as like the current state of how things together are right now, I feel like everything is on a good trajectory. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to unison and just us moving as one and pushing one agenda, which is Detroit, Michigan, our hip hop culture, our music culture, rap, arts, all of that. You know, I think we're doing amazing, and it is a little ways to go, but it's not a lot. It's not a lot of work left to be done. You know, and essentially at the end of the day, bro, all these things happen on other people's time. You know, if two entities got a dispute or they feeling away, however, whatever they got going on, nobody can intervene in that if you're not a part of either side. All we can do is just give an opinion, give an output, maybe put this guy on the phone with this guy. You know what I'm saying? That's all we can do. And sometimes, you know, some people make good arguments, and I think I'm just somebody who so happen to be a person that can make a good argument about this. But your stance and your argument and your way of presenting the ideas and concepts are powerful enough for people to be like, damn, the motherfucker's right. Like, just at that moment, like, shit, he just said some real shit right now. Because it can be words or actions, or like, how does that? I think it got to be both. It got to be words and actions. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, words play a big part in situations like that. You know, and I wouldn't say my words or actions are powerful. I would just say convincing. You know what I'm saying? To an extent. And I don't think it's fair for me to speak on no situations that I don't think it's okay, because I don't want to look like that. I don't want to look like I'm trying to be something different than who I seek to be.
Sure. Newest project, Undefeated. When it was coming together, you know, you kind of took a break from the you do sequences, obviously 1 through 6.
Yeah,
and then you did 2 tapes back to back with Live from 6 Mile with part 2. Can you Live from the 6? Can you talk about Undefeated and that being kind of like a break apart from?
Yeah, I think it was time for me to move on from like Rich Off Pints and Live from the 6. I did 2 Live from the 6s already, but I did them back to back, like really fast. Like I dropped 1, and then I think I dropped part 2 like maybe 2 months later. So I ain't want to come with live from the 6'3" so fast. Pause. And I'm just like, man, you know what? Let me drop some new shit, but I want this shit to really mean something. I had never dropped the EP up until that point as well. So that was my first EP. And, you know, I was just feeling that way, you know, undefeated. And when I say undefeated, I mean, I faced a lot of battles. I faced a lot of struggles, and I came out on top, you know, as of now, whether I'm fighting court systems or I'm fighting the devil, whatever the case may be, I'm fighting myself, you know, when it's time for me to self-reflect. It become a battle within myself at times. And I just feel like I'm undefeated. You know what I'm saying? Undefeated in a lot of aspects. You heard? So, yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah.
And as far as the music, those was just one of them projects where I literally told myself I'm about to make some shit that I want to ride to. I just want to make music that I could listen to, and I made that for myself.
Yes, man. We've talked about it before, but the individual growth of everybody from Team Eastside and how they flourished, and crediting a lot of things to you and Dame Di, and helping these things explode to a point where nobody believed they would before. How proud are you of the guys that are?
Man, I'm super proud, bro. Like, that shit a blessing for every nigga you came up with to be a multi-millionaire. It ain't just about the money. It's just that we all stuck with something. We all believed in something. We used to talk about this shit. When Ray and Peasy, you seen where they said we lived in a 1-bedroom apartment on 13 Mile. That was my apartment. You know what I'm saying? So we all lived in that crib, you heard? Like, and when we talked about this shit, like, bro, we gonna do this shit, bro. We all gonna be rich. Whether it happen together or happen separately, either way, you know, it's gonna happen. We knew it would happen, and it did happen. So I'm extremely proud of everybody that I was around, because we all successful mentally, you know what I'm saying, and emotionally. And I don't know. I mean, what is financial success? I don't know. I feel like that's subjective. You know what I mean? But we all right. We okay.
Yeah, because this whole financials, man, everybody's talking about billions now. Remember when one day it was like, man, I just want $1 million.
Niggas you say they wanted their first 10. Niggas talking about billions now. But I mean, you know, wealth and financial success, that shit just subjective. Whatever you feel is a lot of money to you, then that's a lot of money. Whatever you feel not enough is just not enough. You know, and for me personally, I don't feel like I have enough. You heard? And I want more, but I want more for the right reasons.
And I want to ask you that question because I know I've always had this rule with people who have kids. Like, when I work with people who have kids, before they have kids, I'm like, let's work. And then after they have kids, I'm like, I can't work with you because you're going to do everything it takes to make sure your family's good, even if it means screwing me over. But how much did your mindset change after having children, and how you looked at money after having children?
So this go back to one of the questions you asked me earlier about that switch, about that quick snap. And that's what that snap was. It was my first child, my daughter. You know what I'm saying? And my kids changed everything about my mentality. My kids is the reason why my kids the reason how I realized that you can't do both. You can't do both. You can't be in the streets and chase a dream at the same time. It don't work that way. That ain't the way God work. You know, we can't have it our way. You got to choose one. And whatever one you pick, you got to be okay with the outcome, because they both got a question mark on them. You know, except for one, you know where you land. If you just gun-ho on being a certified street nigga for the rest of your life, that's only got 2 outcomes. But then on the flip side, when it comes to chasing a dream, the thing about that is you literally don't know the outcome, you know, and you can be in a position to where nothing happened. You don't make a fucking dollar, and you look up and you 40 years old and you ain't got shit. Or you can look up and you can be worth 100 million at the age of 40. You know what I'm saying? So,
yes.
And as far as the money, with the way I view money, because of my kids, and this is just me personally, you know what I'm saying? I just feel like a few million not enough money, because I want so much for my kids. I want them to do so much, and I don't seek money for happiness. I don't seek money for pleasure. I seek money to build more opportunity for my family. You heard? Because the things that I want for them in life, it costs. You got to invest. Whatever you put in is what you get out. So
yeah, and I want to kind of ask you about that too, because a lot of like celebrities or massively financial successful people will have kids and be like, I don't give them shit. Like there's rumors that Jackie Chan doesn't give his kids any money and shit like that, or even when he passes away, they're not getting anything. So I always see like celebrities and millionaires always talk about like, I don't give my kids anything, let them earn it the way I earned it. But it's also like, but we're also making the money for them.
Yeah, I'm not gonna put my kids through that because I'm not gonna have to. Because what I'm instilling in them is for them to want to be their own boss anyway, and be their own person anyway. I'm not going to have to deprive my kids of financial access just to do it, just because I can. It don't make sense for me to do that. And the main reason I'm not going to do that is because I'm not going to have to. My kids already know. My kids don't look at what I got as theirs. And I preach to them, listen, this is all of ours. Everything I got is yours. But my kids still like, yeah, Dad, but I'm gonna get my own anyway. You know what I'm saying? So I don't have to deprive my kids financially. However, I don't spoil them at all whatsoever. I let my kids be kids.
Do you say no to them at the grocery store?
I don't go grocery shopping, but I do say no to my kids. Yeah. I do.
What is the last thing you have to say no to as far as like buying some shit that was like, come on, man?
I ain't stand on it. My son asked for a dirt bike. I said no, but I ain't stand on it. I ended up getting one of them motherfuckers. You heard?
Was it safety or was it like was it safety issues or were you worried about like?
It was the safety issues and I didn't want to be peddling nothing that's gas. I wanted to ride electric joint.
You're with electric now?
Yeah, it ain't even about that. It's just I didn't want him inhaling carbon monoxide. Oh, yeah. To fuck him up mentally in the long run. So I was just trying to be, consistent with that. But I didn't stand on business. However, I don't spoil my kids. They don't got a bunch of designer shit in their closet. You know what I'm saying? Like,
what was your most spoiled thing you've gotten when you were a kid, or like not even spoiled, but what was like do you remember getting like birthday or Christmas presents as a kid?
Yeah.
What was like the biggest like, damn, I got this?
Shit, a Nintendo 64.
Yeah, same with me. Yeah.
That was that one. GoldenEye.
Yeah, they gave us GoldenEye and Zelda came with it.
WCW Revenge. Yeah. That bitch was it. We old, gang.
Yeah, WCW versus NWO was legendary. Everything was legendary. GoldenEye was legendary.
Sir. Damn, we old, yeah.
Man, that sucks. I'm trying to hear all that shit.
The GoldenEye, yeah, that shit was so turned for me. My mama we ain't like, my mama wasn't rich and like, we wasn't. My mama worked at AJ Wright, but for some reason I had everything that I wanted. I had all the Jordans that came out, Avrexes, Pellies, and shit like that. It took her a while when we, it took her some time, but once my mama figured this shit out, it was on the flow after that. I was Gucci, you heard.
When we talk about relationships and, even being able to trust, your significant other with all the things that you trusted and they all flourished, I see these days people are pre-qualifying the person that they want to get in a relationship with. It's almost like, no, you need to have it before we make things happen together or we continue a relationship or whatever. It's almost like, here's the prerequisite for you to be able to be with me. Do you think this is like a wrong approach for the future generation?
I think we oversetting standards for ourselves. We setting standards for other people that we don't hold to. We want something that we aren't. You heard? I don't think that makes sense. And I'm speaking out of experience. Me and my old lady, we grew with each other. She was with me when I was fucked up. You know what I'm saying? She was giving me money. You heard? She used to bust her McDonald's checks down with me. This is a fact. I used to drop her off at work in her car, and she gave me gas money to put in her car before I came and picked her up from work. When she got them checks, we bust them shits down. You know what I'm saying? We didn't have no standards for one another. We had standards for life overall. You know what I'm saying? We had standards as a couple, you know what I mean? And as a family for the future. But we didn't come with each other like, yeah, you need to be this way, you gotta be that way. I think when somebody is for you and y'all meant for each other, y'all gonna fit regardless. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like the red string theory. You heard? So
What's that?
well, it's like it's like an old East Asian mythology, to where everybody that you're supposed to meet, and most especially your loved one, your wife, or the person that you ultimately end up being with, y'all meant for each other. So y'all paths gonna cross regardless, and y'all might have seen and been around each other in the past. But no matter what go on in life, y'all always make y'all way to each other because y'all are for each other. Y'all share the same mentality.
Yeah.
Y'all share the same heart, the same approach,
Yes.
and the same standards. You heard? So
Yeah, in India, they really like believe in the before life and energies meeting and people meeting in past lives.
yeah,
And it just keeps recycling. Do
yeah.
you believe in any of that?
I believe in the red string theory. I
That-
believe in that
Is that
part.
what it is? Yeah.
But I don't know about the other stuff. I'm Muslim, so I
Sure.
believe in my religion and my faith.
Sure, man. I want to talk about last couple of things I wanted to talk about real quick was when we 313 weekend, right? It was supposed to happen, and things kind of needed to be adjusted a little bit and figured out. And Juneteenth would happen, and it was a massively successful event.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on the city helping to have these cultural events and things that are so rich to the city be a forefront and a priority to make sure that these things happen with little red tape?
Yeah, I don't think that's okay, and I don't think the city do enough. And the reason why I believe that is because I don't think most people that's in position, I don't think they appreciate what rappers done for Detroit. I don't think they understand that it's not the way downtown look that's bringing tourism here. It's what we doing. We bringing the tourism here. We are the reason people want to come to Detroit and see shit that we rapped about. We the reason we got out of towners knowing what Coney Island is and shit like that. And I don't think they appreciate that. I don't think they realize the moment Detroit rap scene took off, Detroit took off. I don't think they realize that. I don't think they appreciate it. And I don't think that they respect it. And I think they ought to respect it way more, because when it comes to Detroit events and Detroit artists, it's a lot of red tape that shouldn't be there. But if it's an artist that's not from Detroit, everything is smooth sailing.
Yes.
You heard, like, the event happened. It ain't no hiccups. It ain't no debates. It ain't no arguments. It's nothing.
Yes.
They let other artists come to the city and benefit from our hard labor. You know what I mean? When we went through a lot. Yes. It took a long time for us to get this shit to where it's at right now. Mm-hmm. Musically, you heard? And I don't think they appreciate it. I think that red tape is sucker shit, and I think it should be addressed immediately on a bigger scale. And yeah, they don't appreciate what Detroit rappers have done. Mm-hmm. The only person I know for a fact that appreciate our position, including you, and when I say us, that include podcasts, that include Detroit Rap News, Detroit Rap Daily, fucking Hip Hop Lab. That include all this shit, bro. Like, we are one big ecosystem, you know what I'm saying? The only person I know for a fact appreciate that is Mary Sheffields, without a doubt. She appreciate what we do, she understand what we do, and she know how to navigate what we do. So she's always extremely helpful.
That's literally what I was going to start talking about, because the election is in August. It's right around the corner.
Yeah.
And Mary is really, really pushing and really being a part of everything. Talk about, first of all, not to say who you're voting for or anything like that, but who do you like right now?
Mary, I love Mary. I respect Mary because she didn't wait for an election cycle to come around to be a part of the community. She was already a part of the community. A decade before she even decided to run for mayor, she was giving back. She was supporting our events. She was helping us make these events come to fruition. She not even a representative of my district, and she come to everything that I do for my community. She come over there, she donate, and she just a part of it. Not only just for me, for a lot of different communities. You know what I'm saying? She give events and she don't even post this shit, bro. Like in real life. So it's like for me, I literally through experience know Mary Sheffield intentions. I know where her mindset at. I know where her heart at. And I know she genuinely care about the city of Detroit. With a few other candidates, I just don't like the fact that it's like, let me pop out during this election cycle. Right. You know, let me pander to the community. Let me reach out to the rappers and get them to jump on stage and tap dance so I can get their followers.
Yeah,
I'm
I
not
get
a
crazy
fan of
phone
that.
calls from everybody who's running. Everybody's trying to come on and stuff, and I'm always like, man, where the fuck were you like 2 months ago,
Where
bro?
were
Like,
you
what the
a
fuck?
year ago,
Yeah.
2 years
What's
ago?
happening?
You want to know something crazy? I'm not even Christian, bro. I give Christmas events, which I'm sure it's a rhyme. I get Christmas events for the kids in my community.
Yeah.
I do shoe drives. I do picnics, and we give away a bunch of shit there. I do back to school drives. I brought a fucking presidential candidate over there.
Yeah.
For God's sake. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, literally. And he was accessible and people got to meet Robert Kennedy, bro. This is a Kennedy.
Straight
You
up.
heard? This is a Kennedy that was on 6 Mile at Zorba's eating chili cheese fries. You know what I'm saying? With me, I give so much of my time, my money, and myself. I give my team to them. You know what I'm saying? Chanel not from my neighborhood. Chanel do shit for my hood. She not from my hood. She do this shit for me. And it started off for me, and then she fell in love with my hood. You know what I'm saying? So like, and I say that to say this. All the shit that I do over there, I'm not looking for a pat on the back. I don't promote it. You go on my Instagram right now. Wallahi, there's nothing on my page about any event that I just named.
Yeah.
And these events happen every year all throughout the year. I'm not looking for a pat on the back, but I literally never met the representative of my district, not one time. I didn't get a phone call. I didn't get anything. And not that I need that, and I'm not looking for that. It's just the principle. I don't like feeling like I'm being taken advantage of.
Yes.
And the reason why I feel I'm being taken advantage of is because I'm literally doing somebody else's job, and they are getting paid for it.
Yes.
I'm doing the job. I'm going to work every day except Friday. You know why on Friday? Because every Friday someone else go to my job and pick up my check. That's exactly how I feel.
They're using you
every
like
sense of the way.
a pawn in their scheme.
It ain't even that. I think they realize, like, what the fuck is the point of me doing anything? This guy spending all his own money. This guy keeping the hood uplifted. This guy motivating them. This guy carrying on and helping out the mental health crisis. You know, I got a daughter. Me and my family, my big brother, my mama, all my brothers, we got adult care homes in our neighborhood. At least 6 of them. You know, and they house with guys with mental diseases, with mental issues, with physical issues, all the above. You heard, I'm addressing a poverty issue in my neighborhood. Some of those guys that's living in them houses, they were homeless. So I'm addressing the poverty issues in my district, my part of 6 Mile, my part of the 48205 area. I'm addressing these issues. I'm helping with the mental health. Even giving back those clothes and those shoes, that's a part of mental health. Why? Because what we did as a society, we made kids feel unaccepted because of what they got on. Mm-hmm. You heard? So essentially those clothes build up confidence, which is that a good thing? Absolutely not, because somebody should love themselves no matter what. Somebody should appreciate who they are regardless of anything. But unfortunately, and fortunately, because 2 things can be true at the same time, those things help those kids mentally to be able to go to school with brand new shoes on, with brand new clothes on. It helped the parents mentally because I'm taking the financial stress off of them and I'm taking the burden on my own.
Absolutely.
And put it on myself. And I don't never post it. I don't have nothing on my page.
Yeah.
Nothing.
I remember those kids at school that had their shirts to their knees, and it's like they were hand-me-downs, and I remember how people would treat those kids.
I used to get talked about for my shoes, bro. I used to get dogged. before my mama started, making some money. And I don't know how the fuck she did it, working at AJ Wright, and she was a foster parent, you heard, but she wasn't getting paid nothing for being a foster parent. So before I was able to start looking good, I used to get dogged in school, you heard, about the shit that I had on. And I know how it made me feel, so I understand how I make other kids feel. And I know it sounds like I'm venting right now, but I think this is extremely important because I am sneak dissing right now. That is my intentions, to sneak diss.
People have the opportunity to help, and they're not.
Yeah.
And you are.
And I decided to come on your platform and sneak this.
I love it.
And I don't know who this person is. I literally don't know.
It's a conglomerate of people that can put the...
the person that represent my district.
Oh, okay.
I don't know this person. I know Mary Sheffield.
It's always a bunch of people that can help, and they have the opportunity and resources to help.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, like other residents definitely help. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm talking about representatives,
for sure,
of the city of Detroit. My representative.
Yeah.
Don't know him or her, never met him or her, never seen them people. But I seen Mary Sheffield.
Yeah.
She came over there. She donated. She gave back.
Yes. I'm gonna put you on the spot, man.
Go ahead.
Man, come on, man. I know that you have a lot of people on your team, and I know that it seems like the female leadership role from a lot of managers in Detroit and people propagating the scene, the culture, including Chanel, are helping push everything forward. And there's a responsibility factor that you appreciate a lot. I've heard you in a lot of talks mentioning that. Where would you be without Chanel?
All right, listen, let's put it this way, right? Let's put it this way.
Come on, man.
Me and Chanel make a great team. And the only reason why I will be where I am regardless is because I'm a hustler and I do a lot for myself. I do a whole lot for myself.
Okay.
However, me and Chanel are a perfect duo because us combined, we remember the Power Rangers when they used to come together and the big fucking whatever the fuck.
They transform into
the big whatever the fuck it was. That's how I feel about me and Chanel. But I will be exactly where I'm at.
Wow.
No matter what, regardless. I will.
Is that true? All right.
That's true.
It's so funny because usually he's very self-sufficient. So me, I feel like the accessory to the kit.
And I'm not the credit guy. Like I don't think I got anything to gain to go on interviews and go on the internet and speak about what I've done for myself, because this is a team effort. Mm-hmm. And I don't have anything to gain from that. Like, yeah, I did this, I did that, I did all of this for Vezzo. Like, it don't make sense because me and Chanel, we live by this. We live by it don't matter who do the job as long as the job get done.
Incredible.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't take credit for a lot of shit that I've done for myself because it's frivolous. You heard? So yeah, it don't matter.
Incredible, man. Vezzo, man, an honor having you on. Legendary as always having you on. Is there any events or anything that people can look forward to?
I got a new movie coming out called Rideshare, coming out real soon. Me and my homeboy June James, we dropping a project together called Purple Passion. Me and Peasy working on the project, and me and Sada working on the project. Y'all make sure y'all stop at Fresh and Press, 3622 Rochester Road, Troy, Michigan, and make sure you grab tickets to Backwoods and Bonfires, July 19th.
I think
tickets available.
T Grizzly's headlining, I believe.
T Grizzly headlining, yes, Sirski.
And also just the movie real quick. When can people tune in or watch the premiere?
I'm gonna release it inshallah like October.
Okay. Any stars on it? Anybody from the city on it?
Yeah, Lil Blade is actually the starring actor in there. He the main character, main actor in there. Man, that young dude can act, bro.
Yeah.
He did an amazing job, bro. So we had a wonderful team. You heard? So yeah.
Incredible.
That's what we own. And we dropping another TV show called Purple City.
Purple City.
Yeah. It's going to be mostly about my life. Give people a glimpse into the way I grew up.
Is it more of a biopic or is it a series or how does it work?
It's going to be a series.
Cool.
You know what I'm saying? It's mostly like a biopic. And we're going to throw some fabrication in there because I don't want to get in trouble.
Yeah. You have to say this might be real or not real.
It might be real and it might not be.
Were you on A&E? Were you part of A&E? Like, did they interview you before?
Well, so they came to interview me before, and then he asked me a weird question, and I respectfully asked them to exit the premises.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
They asked me some dumb shit. They wanted to see stuff that I didn't understand what they were asking about. Like, I think they thought they was pulling up on a young nigga that's gonna show like nonsense on camera when that ain't who I am. I ain't.
For sure.
Yeah, and I just asked them to respectfully just leave
Damn.
from my space.
Isn't it crazy that you're in that position to walk away from things that some people would be like, this is my ultimate, this could be my opportunity?
You want to know what's crazy? We all in that position, pause. Like, we all in that position.
You're right.
Because what's detrimental to me is also detrimental to the next. It's just about what we choose to allow to, to turn away from, allow ourselves to turn away from. But what I was asked, nobody should do that. Nobody should be showing this shit in videos and interviews, and it don't make sense to do that. It don't make sense. It's moving backwards. Yeah. It's living backwards. It's hustling backwards. It's all the above. So we literally all in that position to walk away from shit.
Yes, because there's no point in adding that karma to your life, right?
It don't make sense to do that. It's just dumb.
The way I look at life now, I can almost look at people and see the karma they've consumed over time. Like, I can look at it. I can literally look at somebody and be like, everything that your face and your voice and your body shows me is all the karma you've consumed.
Karma is real.
Yeah.
That bitch, that's a bad bitch. She pretty. You heard? She attractive.
That's right.
That bitch will take everything from you. Karma's a bad motherfucker. Yeah. What goes around literally come around. Sure.
Icewear Vezzo, man. Legendary talk per usual, man. Thank you for doing this.
Appreciate you, brother.
Everything you've ever done to this point has showed transformation is possible for anybody.
Absolutely.
And to take it to high levels of leadership at the highest level that you can take it to, where you're associated in things that are behind the scenes sometimes, but they have an impact for hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people.
Man, I appreciate that.
Thank you for doing this. I look forward to the film dropping. I look forward to the Backwoods and Bonfires events, and everything else that you got coming out, man. Everybody go check out Undefeated, man.
I appreciate it.
We're at Parallel Sound Studio, High Low Visual Shootings Productions. We're out. Peace.